Good evening and welcome to tonight's broadcast of the Total Nonstop Racing League live from Thunder Alley. It's Rockingham Speedway for the Philadelphia Hot Sauce Festival 150 presented by Standout Stickers. Joe, tonight's race is going to be a ton of fun. This track is old, it's bumpy, it's rough, it is going to kill tires. And these drivers are going to have to find a way to get around this 1 mile oval. And it's going to be a ton of fun. We're bringing you all live here on the Tabletop Trio Podcast Network.
Can't wait for it. Love old tracks. Love beat-up tracks. That just means the racing is going to be more crazy.
That is for sure. A lot of drivers out on the track right now qualifying. There is John Cannizzaro Jr., so far third on the board, and he is sporting that Philadelphia Hot Sauce Festival paint scheme, a great-looking paint scheme done by his crew chief of Crazy Horse Racing, Tyler Avery. So great-looking machine there. He's got the Philadelphia Hot Sauce Festival on there. Get your tickets today, phillysaucefest.com. Over 20 of some of the greatest hot sauce manufacturers in the area are going to be live there, so that is going to be a ton of fun. So far, this guy right here, that's not Matt Kenseth. That is the 17 of Tristan Maher. He's your fastest on the board so far with a lap time of 24.65. Tyler Avery in the chat says, not sure how Crazy Horse Racing of all teams ended up being the flag bearers for the sponsor, but hey, I'll take it.
We like to roll the die.
Right? Here is the 27 of Anthony DeBarro, so far second fastest. Going in for a lap time of a 24.75. Good enough for second fastest as we see the 44 of Danny White in the wall. This is one driver you're going to want to keep an eye out for. Oh, as DeBarro goes up onto the wall. Jason Schue, he has raced here in real life. So he is a driver you are going to want to watch tonight. He knows exactly how to get around. He's had NASCAR legends actually show him how to race properly here at the Rock. So he's also hoping to get funding and secure funding to race here at Rockingham this season in the ARCA series. So he's looking to put in some valuable seat time here in a car that's actually very similar to what he's going to be running come April.
Just wild.
You can really hear him feather the throttle there. It's so easy to get loose down that back straightaway, especially out of turn number 2. That's going to be our calamity corner here tonight. A lot of drivers coming up off the banking into the relatively flat backstretch. The car gets all sort of out of sorts. That's going to send you sideways into that wall, and typically the way with how high and banked this track is, it's a self-cleaning racetrack, meaning what goes up the track is going to go back down the track. So just got to keep an eye on that once once you see a wreck happening in front of you. Here's
That's
Jonathan.
the first time I've ever heard that.
Oh yeah, yeah. Those self-cleaning racetracks. The higher the banking, the more predictable a wreck is, because the crash is going to go up the track, but it's not going to come back up the track.
I just really hope not.
Yeah. So there's Jonathan Gaston, 11th fastest so far on the board out of the 18 cars that have showed up here tonight. Jamar Dumas also out there just finishing up his lap. But Joe, that'll just about do it here for this qualifying session. Let's take a quick look at the starting grid for tonight's race. It's the Philadelphia Hot Sauce Festival 150 here at Rockingham. Tristan Thuggy Maher on the pole, riding the momentum from last week's doubleheader at Talladega. He's on the pole. Anthony DeBarro outside of him, less than a tenth separating our front row. Row number 2, we have John Cannizzaro Jr. in the Philadelphia Hot Sauce Festival machine, followed by Philip Scott. Row number 3, we have Nick Cohan and Shane Ewing, Chris Gabot and Danny White in row number 4. Jamar Dumas, Jason Schue round up row number 5. Jonathan Gaston and Ace House in row number 6. Row number 7, we have John Cannizzaro Sr. and Adam Stewart. Robert Tripp, Jacob Bettis in row number 8. Row number 9 has Garrett Gleason and Ross Stevens, rounding out our 18-car field for tonight. And Joe, this is going to be a good race. I'm very excited to see how all of this is going to play out.
Yeah,
here at Rockingham.
I love me the crazy races.
Oh, and this absolutely will be crazy. You see the starting lineup now on the top of your screen, and 150 laps. These drivers are going to have to be very, very careful when it comes to saving their tires. The fastest way around the racetrack is definitely going to be up on the top side, but you're going to be carrying more speed, putting a little bit more heat into those outside tires as well. So that may not necessarily always be the best way around the racetrack. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here for 150 laps.
Oh, I'm super excited. The weather looks great out there.
Yeah, right now, showing air temperature just 80 degrees. Track temp is 128. So not a whole lot of grip on this pretty weathered surface.
I meant great as in for those in attendance. Sorry to the drivers.
Yeah. What's great for the fans often is not great for the drivers. So the field coming out of turn number 4, pace car getting ready to make a hard left-hand turn. And that's another thing we have not mentioned yet, is getting onto pit road is incredibly treacherous. So these drivers will certainly have to adapt with that. Green flag is in the air, and we're racing here. The Philly Hot Sauce Festival 150 presented by Standout Stickers. Green flag is in the air. Tristan Maher on the bottom side. He's getting a little sideways out of turn number 2. Jason Schue catches the wall as well. A couple other drivers had to make some evasive action. And sideways. Tabaro's sideways. Maher's sideways. Cohan has to go on the apron. Somehow everyone stays driving the right direction.
Yeah, great catches.
Wow. We are going to have to take a look at that one again because, oh my, that was something.
Starting off with the Fast and Furious.
Yeah, really. Let's get another look at that one here. Here is the 17. Keep an eye out for that number 17 machine of Tristan Maher. Let's go on board with him and see what exactly happens. As he drives off into the corner, we'll go down in the slow motion, and yeah, the 27 was there. 17 just kind of got into him a little bit. They're both sideways. And let's take a look. Look at the wheel positioning now for Maher. That car is turned all the way hard to the right. He's back saving it somehow.
Yeah, that's insane. They also seem to have a couple people in the pits.
Looks like both Garrett Gleason and Ross Stevens made their way onto pit road.
Yeah.
Not entirely sure what happened there. Let's take a look. Here is the 7. So Garrett just pulled aside and parked it early. Sideways goes the 32 of Shane Ewing. We had mentioned that once already. They're coming out of turn number 2. The car just unloads whatever compression it has in the corner. The car almost springs up with the shocks, and oftentimes that's going to want to cause the car to go sideways.
not an ideal situation for when you're really trying to go straight.
Yes, certainly not. As you see, the 72 Jonathan Gaston also have a little sideways moment there. Meanwhile, out front, these two drivers have started to open up a bit of a gap. It's John Cannizzaro Jr. and Philip Scott.
So how are we looking with this track in terms of fueling?
So here, I mean, I would venture to guess if they're going to do 3 stops, maybe even 4 stops, we'd probably look, I mean, 3 stops is 50 laps. I don't know if the tires are going to be super happy with 50 laps. So maybe we say, you know, 4, maybe do 40 laps on a tank. But that is honestly a really good question, and I'm interested to see kind of how that all is going to play out here.
Yeah, because I know, you know, Cannizzaro and Scott are going to get maybe a little cushy in the front as they kind of break away from everybody else, and as long as they don't make mistakes, they'll probably stay up there. However, pits usually change a thing, and if we had those early slips and slides, I can't imagine as these tires wear, it's not going to get worse.
Yeah, no, definitely. And you know, we're going to see speed start to lower. We're going to see guys have trouble getting the car to turn. We're going to see a lot more guys into the wall, especially in turns 1 and 2. It's really going to change the complexion of the race, because I think right now everyone's in that, okay, tires aren't great right now. We're just going to have to deal with it and see what we can do here and see how the car feels for a later run. We're kind of in that phase right now.
Gotcha.
Right now, it looks like there's a bit of a battle here. That is the 44 of Danny White. He's got Shane Ewing and Jamar Dumas all on his back bumper. You can see there, Dumas was fastest amongst these 3 the last time by. Only by a little bit. Over in the chat, Scott Stewart says, go number 4. And Justin House cheering on Ace and Ross Stevens. Now it looks like 25 Chris Cabot got a little squirrely there out of the corner. You could really hear it there, how hesitant these drivers are to get onto the gas coming out of the corner.
Yeah, really.
You know, you kind of sit there and you see, okay, well, you know, I think I can confidently do this. You get on the gas and the car either doesn't turn or you feel the back end slide around. You're like, oh, nope, I can't do that.
Ah, you've just explained my everyday racing experience.
I can definitely do this. And no, I can't.
I got this. Hello, wall.
Another battle a little bit further back in the pack. That's the 24 Jacob Bettis. Well, he was racing with Cannizzaro Sr., but he's opened up the gap a little bit now to about half a second. A little bit further back, Adam Stewart there as well in the number 4 Welts Clothing Machine. Two cars off the track at the moment. That's Ross Stevens in the 89 and Garrett Gleason in the 7. See where your favorite driver is right now using the track map. Philip Scott currently trying to hunt down our leader, John Cannizzaro Jr. About 1.25 seconds separating these two drivers. As you see, this gap has opened up just a little bit for the field. got to say, that 21 machine of Nick Cohan is a great looking race car.
Yeah. I love the driver's side. It looks like it's like a little rusty. The details, the little details.
Yeah, it's just those little extra bits that are, they're just so cool. See if we can find a better camera angle for you as the field gets through turns 3 and 4. There it is, looking like the old, 1987 Thunderbird that the NASCAR Cup Series used. It's been out in the sun and rain a little bit too long with all the rust. I mean, being in New Jersey, we don't really get the car rust as badly as we would see maybe in the Midwest, but that is just so cool to see. Here's Chris Cabot. Won a few races earlier on in the season. Swept the doubleheader at Daytona to start the year. And he's been pretty close to the front of the pack most races, rather. A little bit further back, there's Danny White putting some pressure on Shane Ewing. White trying to get a move on. As we're on board now with the 32 of Shane Ewing. This is definitely one of the closest battles we have on the racetrack at the moment. Right now, though, Anthony DeBarro still working on trying to catch his Dizzy Motorsports teammate Nick Cohan. DeBarro involved in that half slide on lap 1 into turn 3. And Joe, I kind of think that might have put him at a little bit of a disadvantage just because it heated the tires up, kind of heated them up fairly early. And he's a little bit behind the 8 ball, at least in this first run, until everyone has to come down to pit.
Yeah, I can see that.
Right now, another driver heads down pit road. That's John Cannizzaro Sr.
Yeah, I didn't know what he was up to, but it looks like he's getting a couple tires?
Yeah, right now, I mean, if we can get a camera on the side of his car, I think he might just be working on damage at this point. I don't entirely know why he would be on pit road. It's still pretty early to go for tires.
Yeah, I saw the car go up and then go back down, so maybe it was just damage, and out he goes.
Now we have a little bit of pressure here for second as Nick Cohan takes a peek to the inside of Philip Scott. Not quite able to get his nose in. I love tracks where you take a little unconventional line, and we see these guys, especially in turn 1, almost diamonding the corner. They'll enter real low, let the car drift up all the way at the wall in the midway point, and then drive down from there to exit the corner. Always really, really cool to see. As looks like Jason Schue, the next driver to head down pit road. We might actually be seeing some early pit stops. Some
interesting strategies getting played out.
Yeah, it looks like Cannizzaro Sr. still down on pit road, or Sr. is actually back down pit road.
Yep. Speaking of Cannizzaro, he made his way around Stewart, now working through lap traffic. Scott's about to do the same, I think.
Yeah, here, and we got a good battle for second right now as well. As we jump on board here with the number 4 car. You can hear again, just feathering the throttle, trying not to overdrive. So Philip Scott grabs the wall.
I don't know if Cohen grepped the wall or if it's just up high. You get a little bit of sparks from a bounce.
Yeah, very well could have just kind of bottomed out with how rough this racetrack is as well. It's very easy to just, let the car hit the ground and make it almost look like you caught the wall.
Well, the racetrack wasn't rough enough,
Yeah. Yeah, what's a little floor damage? I mean, these cars, unlike the current day Cup cars, don't have the carbon fiber floor or underbody like they do currently. So you're not going to do any floor damage here.
I just see the back, back passenger side. They have like this, what looks like an aluminum rod close to the floor. I don't know what that thing is. I never want to, I'm always worried about how I'm driving. I'm going to hit that thing.
The good old track bar. It's there to raise or lower one side of the car to help the car turn a little bit or help it turn less, depending on how you're feeling. There's the famous
crash.
There's the famous Dale Jr. quote. His crew chief was asking him how the car is feeling and how the track bar is. And while racing, Dale Jr. just says, "Let me ask it. Hello, track bar. How are you doing?" So John Cannizzaro Jr. leads. That's the gap. Cohan's been able to start shrinking that gap ever so slightly. It's down under a second now, as we're coming up on a lap 35 out of 150 here at Rockingham. Everyone else fairly spread out, as you see where your favorite drivers are currently running. Tristan Maher now working around the 4 of Adam Stewart. As well as the 27 of DeBarro working his way around the 24 of Jacob Bettis. Those are the only 2 cars 1 lap down. Jason Schue and John Cannizzaro Sr. still on pit road, as is Ross Stevens and Garrett Gleason.
I guess they just took a little bit of wall damage and then the car wasn't feeling right.
Yeah, I wonder if that's exactly what it is, because these cars, they will take a beating, but, once you get in the wall, especially here at Rockingham, the car doesn't always drive as well as you'd hope it would.
Yeah.
Gap now has shrunk to 0.3 of a second. As Cohan quickly trying to draw down that Philadelphia Hot Sauce Festival machine. Tickets are on sale, PhillySauceFest.com. Tickets are $9. You can't beat that. 20 of the best hot sauce manufacturers in the area at Neshaminy Creek Brewing in Croydon, Pennsylvania. So if you're anywhere in the New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania area, make sure you check that out. We'll be there doing some podcasting as well as judging, and it's going to be a good time.
Just trying to think of things you could buy with $9. And it's a very short list.
It is like a bag of chips. Ooh.
Maybe a McDonald's burger, but like not a meal,
No.
just the burger.
And it's unlimited hot sauce samples. You can go to all of them and just run the table at every single vendor.
And there's a lot of them.
Oh, yes. And
they're all
specifically, if you go, you have to go talk to our friend Ron at Hell's Kitchen Hot Sauce and tell him you want to try hipster repellent. Right now, though, Cannizzaro Jr. is trying to get some Cohan repellent here, as here comes Nick Cohan to the inside, side by side for the lead. Canizaro is going to have a better run on the outside. Cohan trying to get something done, but the back end just kind of snaps on him. And that gap opens back up to 4/10. Great racing here, almost a third of the way in. If you're just joining us, welcome. It's Tabletop Trio Podcast Network, broadcasting the Total Nonstop Racing League. If you see this and you say, you know what, I want to get involved, I want to do some racing, make sure you check out the link in the description. Great group of guys racing here each and every Monday night. Some of the best administrators for the league you can possibly ask for as well. And Joe, we might be seeing our first round of green flag pit stops now.
Around 40 something.
So if we're thinking 45 laps just to round it off, 45, another 45 is 90. That means they're going to have to go 60 on that last run, unless it's, 45, 45, 45, and then just have a, 15 lap run at the end where it's just a splash and go, or you come down early and take your last pit stop?
Yeah, I never know what these guys what the pits are gonna look like, what their plans are. I can take guesses all day, but I know I'm gonna be wrong.
Honestly, that's usually how I feel here, as we see Tristan Maher getting around the 28 of Dumas. He's got a little pressure from Shane Ewing, but he's able to drive off just a little bit.
Had some fun up in the front.
Oh, yeah, look at that. The 21 Cohan getting a little squirrely there midway down the backstretch.
Oh, no, they got into it with another driver. I think they were bumper to bumper for a minute there.
Well, let's take a look here on the Tabletop Trio replay, just to see what had happened. Looks like they're coming up. Oh, yeah, they were fighting, and Jason Schue was able to pop his way in. Wow, interesting here. So this battle took place over a couple of laps. So here's Cohan first trying to make a move on Canizaro. That's the 3 of Jason Schue. He has much fresher tires than these two. 3 not quite able to make the pass. He gets loose, drops down on the apron. Here comes Cohan now to the inside. Cohan tries to slide, but he gets right up on top of the 77. That lets the 3 drive off. And the 21 gets a little sideways there again on exit. But, like clockwork, Cohan still all over the back bumper of Canizaro.
Looks like Philip Scott pitting. So these guys really are all over the place with these. I'm assuming in the next 5 or 6 laps, we're just going to start seeing cars trickle in.
Yeah, I think a lot of guys are going to be doing, I think these guys are going to be looking at the 50-ish lap range just to come down, pit on lap 50, pit on lap 100, and then just hope you have enough fuel and tire to finish the race.
Oh, Tyler Avery in the chat.
Tyler says, dang, talk about a spicy move. Oh, boy. Danny White heads off into the pits.
We don't have our sound box here.
No, we don't. Fortunately and unfortunately. Cohan still all over the back bumper of Canizaro. Now Canizaro's just saying, all right, bud, I'm pitting.
Yeah.
At least that's what it looks like here as Cohan takes the lead.
Yep.
So Nick Cohan is going to inherit the lead. And it's going to be interesting now where these drivers come back and rejoin the field. They have about a 14.5-second lead over Shane Ewing. as there's Ewing finally just now getting around Cannizzaro. Philip Scott there had pitted back on lap 47. So he is still making his way up. Philip Scott's in 9th. Nick Cohan is on pit road alongside the 4 of Adam Stewart. And this is a smart move here by Cohan. Cohan knows, okay, if you're driving in the pit stalls, there will be no contact if you're alongside another driver. So that's why he was driving through the pit stalls, just to avoid any, possibility of contact. Now Cohan's in the wall. That's going to give the lead over to Shane Ewing. So right now our top 4, Ewing, Gabot, Gaston, and Tripp, have yet to head down pit road. Cohan and Ace House are currently on pit road. Cohan's leaving now. Philip Scott gets around Ace House. And now Scott gets around Cohan. So once everyone pits, Philip Scott is going to likely inherit the lead. And oh yeah, these two glued together once again.
Yep, right back.
They just said,
crazy
pause,
that they were a lap
tire
away.
break. Oh, the 44.
I was gonna say, I see
Trouble for
something
Danny
smoking.
White.
I was like, who's grilling on the infield?
Danny White takes a spin into the infield. Let's see what happened here. Oh, he was trying to get down onto pit road and, barely avoids those tire barriers. Or those sand barrels.
Well, the good news is he already needed tires.
That is very true.
So, he's got that going for him.
Let's take one more look here at the cockpit of the 44 machine. Oh, boy.
Oh, talk about a clencher. Woo!
Definitely a brown pant moment for sure there.
Yeah. I'm going to need 4 sets of tires and a new suit. That.
Potentially in that order. So Jonathan Gaston, the last car to pit. He heads down now. Actually, Jacob Bettis is yet to pit as well, but now here comes Bettis too. That is going to inherit the lead. Well, I would say to Philip Scott, but here comes the 77 of Cannizzaro Jr. putting a charge, and Cannizzaro is going to lead that lap. And that right there is 4-lap fresher tire difference. Cannizzaro pitted back on lap 51. Philip Scott on 47. So you can even see there just the difference in tire. 4 laps doesn't really seem like a whole lot, but...
God, I mean, that's 4 miles. It doesn't seem like 4 miles would change.
Yeah,
But
4 miles,
yeah.
you can even look at it as basically less than 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And that gap has grown now to about a second over the 99. Great camera work here by our friends at Track Cams 4 Gourmets. Check them out online, Track Cams 22.
Always fantastic.
Link is down in the description as well. Right now, Cannizzaro's lead has grown to 1.7 seconds over Philip Scott. Nick Cohan putting on a little bit of pressure onto the 99 of Philip Scott.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what Cannizzaro wants. Scott, slow him down. Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, you hold him off. I'll check out. Okay, thanks, bye. And another interesting fight here right now is Chris Cabot. You see him in that 25. He's 1 lap down. However, he is the first car. He is the first car 1 lap down. So if a yellow were to come out, Cabot would be our lucky dog recipient. He'd get his lap back, and he'd be back on in contention of winning. As though just again there, Philip Scott got a little squirrely. That's going to let Nick Cohan, he's running the bottom. Scott's going to have a little better drive off. They're drag racing down the front stretch. And oftentimes the guy on the bottom is going to have a better run through the corner. Out of the corner, it's typically the guy on the outside because you can get back up on, onto the throttle a little bit quicker. And therefore you should potentially be able to run down the backstretch a little bit better. But in that case, wasn't exactly working for him. Now Scott back down in third, Cohan up to second. He's going to set his eyes on Cannizzaro, who's now 3 seconds ahead.
I guess those tires do come into play again, right?
Absolutely, they're going to.
Cohan's got what, 5 lap pressure? Because he pitted a lap after Cannizzaro.
Yeah, so right now Nick Cohan pitted on lap 52. Philip Scott on 47. Behind him, DeBarro pitted on 50. Jamar Dumas actually pitted much earlier, back on lap 42. Couple of dizzy drivers fighting right there as here comes Philip Scott into the clutches now of Anthony DeBarro. And DeBarro just says, all right, cool, thanks. I'll see you later.
I gotta go bother the guys in the front.
Yeah, I'm gonna go track down that 77. I'll talk to you later. Meanwhile, out front, Cannizzaro's in some heavy traffic. He's right on the back bumper of Shane Ewing. And that's going to put Ewing 1 lap down. But now Shane Ewing's trying to battle himself back. He gets to the inside of Cannizzaro. Great run down the front stretch.
I was going to say, I don't think Ewing has been letting him go easy because I think he's been up there a while.
Yeah, and I mean, right now, Ewing... No! Wow, that was close. Ewing there knows, okay, I do not want to go a lap down. Jamar, you take it instead of me. But now I think Cannizzaro is going to have a slightly better run this time down the front stretch.
No.
That was nerve-wracking. Here comes Shane Ewing down to the inside once more. Robert Tripp heads down pit road. We're going to keep this action here.
I think this is exactly what Cannizzaro wasn't looking for. Don't make me fight and burn my tires and make them even hotter than they were. Just let me coast. Let me get let me take some time here.
And the thing about that is Shane Ewing has 3 lap fresher tires than Cannizzaro. Ewing pit back on lap 54 versus Cannizzaro on 51.
Wow.
So that explains why he was fighting so hard and able to stick with it. But now I think, Ewing is going to see, all right, I got the dizzy guys behind me. I'm just going to let them let them go on their way. Hopefully they'll take care of the 77 and I'll stay, I'll stay first car 1 lap down.
Yeah.
Only 5 cars on the lead lap right now, as we're 72 laps into this 150 lap race. Great run here by these top 4 drivers. Philip Scott hasn't really lost all that much time, all things considered. The 3 of Jason Schue gets real loose out of 2. Philip Scott only about 4.8, now 4.7 seconds behind these guys. But look who's caught who. Cohan back to the bumper of the 77. So we're going to see ourselves a great fight now between Cohan and Cannizzaro for the next, say 25 laps or so.
Give or take.
So I hope you're buckled in, get that popcorn ready. This is going to be something. Cannizzaro making his car as wide as possible, like Ryan Newman. The NASCAR driver, not the driver from the Tuesday Dash Series. Impossibly difficult to pass. Now Cannizzaro is definitely trying to do the exact same. That is a fantastic bumper sticker on the back of the 77. I'm okay.
Indeed.
I'm not okay.
I used to have that on my Jeep. I had it on the back tire, like the extra tire carrier.
Honestly, that's fantastic. Oh, the 21 catches the wall, but he's going to try to use that as momentum. He gets to the inside of the 77. We're side by side out of turn number 4. Oh, big slide. Almost got into the 77. Somehow they stay off each other. Cohan has the lead. Here comes Cannizzaro to the inside. Advantage this time goes to Cohan.
Cohan into the wall, though. I wonder if he's tapping that wall for on purpose now.
You know, it very well could be. It's not like it gives you a speed boost or anything like that, but I mean, sometimes when you hit the line just right, you have to be millimeters from the wall. And sometimes, it, you know, even iRacing's netcode is just like, all right, I think you might have hit. Either that or, like we had mentioned earlier, he may be bottoming out. With how bumpy this track is, he could easily just, you know, have the bottom side of the car get into the ground. Danny White makes his way down pit road. We're going to keep it here for now. Now they're working on Tristan Maher. Maher's actually the 5th place car right now. That just goes to show the speed of these top drivers.
Yeah, they are cooking.
You know, we're talking with DeBarro last week after Talladega, and he was even saying that, you know, when he saw Rockingham was coming up, he was already getting ready to lick his chops, just trying to save fuel, save tires. That's always been in his wheelhouse. And DeBarro's having himself a good run. DeBarro currently sitting P3, just kind of biding his time, not really trying to push the car, letting the car do whatever it wants to do. And I really do think DeBarro is in a pretty good spot at the moment.
I think so.
Philip Scott. Currently running in P4. Driver out of Plymouth, Michigan. Tristan Maher has been, oh, Maher in the wall hard. Let's say he has been passed by Nick Cohan, so he's now 1 lap down. And I think out of anyone, he's the one saying, all right, I could use this yellow right now.
Anybody?
Everybody, I'm sure, would throw whatever tire and fuel strategy they have out the window should a yellow come out at the moment.
Yeah.
Let's take a look here. Each and every lap now, Cohan's been about 0.2 of a second quicker than Cannizzaro. You have to wonder if the 77 just burnt up the tires a little bit too much.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking when he was fighting with Ewing for position. I really think he ended up burning up his tires a little bit.
Yeah, just a little too much. Little too much in there.
Yeah, too much of the beans, as they say.
Yeah, too many beans. And now on equal tires are the 77 and the 17 there. Granted, Maher is a lap behind them. But 77 grabs the wall again. Or pardon me, the 17 grabs the wall there.
In a perfect world, everyone's tires would wear equally, but I guess that is where it comes down to your race line, your strategy, as to where it might be showing that some of these people are wearing their tires faster than others, even though we're at the same, time.
Exactly. And, it all kind of depends, like you said, your strategy. How hard do you attack the corner? Do you gas up too soon? Do you use, even if you use too much wheel into the corner, that's going to heat up that right front a lot quicker. So a lot of times these drivers, since you are using the brakes a decent amount, you're not hitting road course level braking, but the only thing the drivers can adjust in a race like this is considered a fixed setup race, meaning everyone is driving the exact same setup. Every car is the same. So if we took Nick Cohan and plopped him into, let's say the 35 of Robert Tripp's car, the two of them are in the exact same race car. It comes down to, just seat knowledge, how exactly you plan on handling the car, how you get through the corner. And it's all, the squishy bit between the wheel and pedals. The only things you can change in a fixed setup race are the brake bias, which determines how much brake goes to what part of the car. If you go to the front, you're going to be more stable. It's going to take a lot longer to slow down, and it tends to lock up the tires. If you push the brakes towards the rear, that puts more braking power to the back of your car, which is going to make you looser or oversteer a little bit more. And these drivers tend to use that to help them turn in the corner, so they're not using the steering as much as they're actually using the brakes to help them turn. So those are the only changes you can make in a fixed setup race. There is no wedge adjustment. There is no, track bar or anything like that. You're just in car using that brake bias, and you can only go plus or minus 3% from where you start your race.
So you can't crank it.
So yeah, if you start your brake bias at 70% to the rear or 70% front, you can only drop down to 67. You can only go from 67 to 73 in that window.
I think you just explained my air conditioning settings as well.
Yeah, that tracks. Great camera angles here. Just seeing how everyone is taking a little different line, and they go all the way up to that outside wall. But here in 3 and 4, we see some guys running the high top, a couple of guys running the bottoms. Philip Scott there running high middle. but everyone coming out of the corner the exact same way.
Yeah. I'm actually shocked after the start of the race that it's been quiet since. Everyone kind of got their footing.
Yeah, I think turn 3 was definitely a bit of a, oh, so that's what happens here, kind of scare going into 3. I'm curious though to see if there was any, you know, lasting damage on the 27 or the 17.
I'm not sure.
So coming up on lap 99 here. We should be seeing green flag pit stops soon for these drivers. But while we do that, let's take a look at the incident that we're talking about at the very beginning of the race. You'll see the 17 there of Tristan Maher. He's in the number 17 DeWalt Ford. He takes a look to the inside of the 27. The 27 has already cleared him. And just a big slide. Everyone is able to scatter and keep themselves going.
Absolutely wild that everyone recovered on that.
Yeah, we see our first round of pit stops now. Jamar Dumas is down on pit road. Adam Stewart there as well. So if they go the same length, it'll be Cohan on 104 and Cannizzaro sometime around now. Like that. So Cannizzaro, the next driver to head down pit road. Only 4 cars on the lead lap. As Philip Scott gets around him. Cohan misses pit road. Disaster for the 21. He tried to get down onto pit road, couldn't. Now he's going to have to go an extra lap.
You did say it was rough to get down there.
And that is certainly going to lose some time there for the 21 machine on his out lap. Now Cohan gets down there. So that's going to relinquish the lead to the 27 of DeBarro, but DeBarro heads down pit road too. So Cohan is going to still keep the lead. As Chris Cabot gets around and he'll get his lap back the old-fashioned way. So now with both Cohan and DeBarro on pit road, Cannizzaro already down and away. Likely Cannizzaro should inherit the lead. So they're now 3 wide. Actually, no, Gabot's going to inherit the lead. Gabot there has yet to pit, but look at that 50 lap difference in tires.
Yes. Yep.
Let's see, is Gabot going to head down this time? No, he's not. So Cohan out of the pits. Currently leading, has a 1.4 second advantage over Cannizzaro. And a 1 lap tire advantage on Cannizzaro. 1 lap, not much of a difference. But once you get to those 3-4 laps, you might be trouble. 1 car sideways in the dirt. That's the 72 of Jonathan Gaston. What happened there?
Yeah, whenever you see smoke, I'm assuming it's a missed pit. Oh, no.
No, he just snapped on him. Wow, what a save there by the 72. A little bit of right front damage as well.
That grass is very slippery.
Yes.
Me and that grass, we're intimate.
I've been there a few times myself. And I'm not talking about victory lane on the front stretch either.
What's victory? Is that what happens while I still have 50 laps to go?
Well, you didn't know you could win the race on lap 1? So coming up on 42 laps to go. Oh, the 4 of Adam Stewart sideways. Great save by Stewart. He had gone down on the apron to let the leaders by, but he got one tire stuck up on the banking and just brought him around. Now we got a battle for the lead. Here comes Canizar to the inside of Cohan.
Yeah, so interesting. Canizaro seems to have it the first, I'd say, 25 to 30 laps on those fresh tires. But I think Cohan catches him on the other 25 to 30 laps on the tires.
Yeah, and it's really interesting where, you know, it's almost like the short run car versus the long run car. And you'll typically see that when it comes to, you know, open setup racing, where one guy may have better stuff the longer the race goes on. Another guy may only be better for, you know, a couple of shorter runs as, oh, they come together getting around the 3 of Jason Schue. But here
like
in these fixed setup races, they're all about the same. Yeah, the cream and the Oreo right there. Oh, God damn. Here comes Canizaro now trying to fight back.
Thank you, thank you.
Scott Stewart in the chat saying Adam did that for style points. Style points, I'm pretty sure. He definitely got the style points from the judges here, that's for sure. I think now if I'm Cohan, I'm saying, you know what? I'm going to let the 77 fight me as hard as he wants. Cohan seems to have the better tire saving.
Mm-hmm.
He's slightly less aggressive. He just kind of runs his line and doesn't really put up, you know, not saying he doesn't put up a fight, but he doesn't exactly, you know, throw elbows.
Yeah,
and, you know,
get
the elbows out.
I'm taking my line.
And if you want to pass me, you're going to have to find a way around me.
Yeah. You burn up your tires. I'm going to stay with my line.
Yeah, and coming now to 30, 35 laps to go, I think Cohan's just kind of putting his car in the right spots to make Canizaro work for it. And by working for it, he's going to burn up his tires a little bit more than I think he really wants to.
Yeah, it's one of those things where if I was out there, now granted, I definitely wouldn't be in the top 10, but if I was out there, I feel like I'd be sitting behind Cohan. I'm going to take your line. Your tires seem to be holding, so I'm going to stay right behind you. I'm going to stay right connected to behind you, and then with 4 to go or 5 to go, I'm going to start to push.
Yeah, and I think, you know, someone who's in a good position right now is that 17 of Maher behind. He's sitting there, he's watching this and seeing, all right, what is the 21 doing? What is the 77 doing? What are they doing that I'm not doing? And how can I fight to try to save tires? And right now he's got a front row seat to a dang good battle on track. Another lap car there. That's the 89 of Stuart Stevens. Stevens pulls over to let the leaders fight. And man, what a fight. What a battle.
Boy, are they.
And just think, we may not be seeing this if the 21 didn't miss his the pit entry the first time around this last round of pit stops.
Yeah.
Adam Stewart heads down pit road. Oh, Cannizzaro hard into the wall. Oh, that's a 44 as well, going for a slide. That's Danny White. Not sure where he went. Oh, that was Ross Stevens. Let's see what happened to him. Nope, Stevens was up in the wall.
Right into the pits. I don't even know if he made it to the pits.
Yeah, I don't know if he did either. No, it looks like he jumped to the pits. And just like that, Cannizzaro's opened up, or Cohan rather, has opened up about a 7/10 of a second lead over Cannizzaro. A little bit further back. Go ahead.
Do you think these guys have enough to finish the race?
So if we say 50 laps, they can comfortably do it. The top 5 are all good to go on fuel.
Mm-hmm.
If we're saying 55 laps, I think everybody but Shane Ewing can make it the rest of the way without having to stop. The reason I say that is Shane Ewing last pit on lap 89. Everyone else pitted... Dumas pitted on lap 97. Everyone else right around lap 100. Gabot was on 111. So I think everyone should be okay.
About 55.
Yeah, so I think everyone here should be okay on fuel here. See Jacob Bettis there. He just pit back on lap 109. Not entirely sure why it's not showing up on the graph, but
we'll take your word for it. We'll mark a note to fire the graph guy.
Yeah, our statistician. We'll need to have a chat after this race. So Cohan, you see on the battle box there, about an 8/10 of a second lead over Cannizzaro. You can even see they both pit. Cohan on 103, Cannizzaro 102. I mean, even their top speed that they've hit is just almost equal. So Nick Cohan is your leader. Pennsylvania driver. Out of Nazareth, PA. Home of the Andrettis and the old Nazareth Speedway. Yeah, definitely not your typical Pennsylvania driver, for sure. And I feel like we are surrounded right now by drivers out of state, because there's Cannizzaro Jr. out of New York. As Cannizzaro grabs the wall.
I would say not a typical New York driver, but I'd be lying.
Yeah. A little bit further back, here is Anthony DeBarro, currently in third. And just behind him, that's Philip Scott in that white and blue machine. This is a battle for position. About a second and a half separating these two. Much fresher tires there on the 25 of Chris Cabot. In fifth place here is the 17 machine of Tristan Thuggy Maher. Maher started on the pole, got into it a little bit with DeBarro going into turn 3 at the beginning of the race. Hasn't quite been able to get his way back up to the front of the field, but putting in some good work right now. The only car one lap down. And in line for the lucky dog should a yellow flag come out. Jamar Dumas here in sixth place. Started ninth, so he's up 3 since the drop of the green flag. There's Chris Cabot. We had mentioned he has the freshest tires. He pitted back, like I said, on lap 111. Ace House in the number 47 machine having himself a good run. Oh, he gets in the wall there because, you know, broadcaster's curse. But House started back in 12th, currently running P8. Another driver, Jonathan Gaston, he's in 9th. Started in 11th, so he's moving his way up. And even after taking that spin through the infield, he's still up and running in top 10 position. One lap behind him is the 32 of Shane Ewing, and that'll round out our top 10 drivers. Meanwhile, out front, there is Nick Cohan just behind Shane Ewing. Coming to 15 laps remaining here around this 1 mile circuit at Rockingham Speedway. NASCAR Xfinity and Truck Series will be racing here in real life at the end of April on Easter weekend.
Wonder how they'll fare.
What's that?
Wonder how they'll fare.
I think it's going to be interesting. They've had some tests, and everyone is saying that the track is great. It's old, it's abrasive. Tire management and tire saving is going to be a lot of fun. And, I mean, NASCAR has not raced here at Rockingham since 2005, I think, for the Cup Series, and 2012, give or take, for the Truck Series. So it's certainly been a while since NASCAR has been back at the Rock, and it's always great to see. I love this track. Maybe not so much me driving it in iRacing, but watching races at the Rock are always a great time. Coming up on 12 laps to go, Nick Cohan comfortably in the lead over Cannizzaro. Cannizzaro now 4 seconds back. There goes Cohan. Here comes Cannizzaro in the black car right there. And Anthony DeBarro in that white and red machine, he's in third, with Philip Scott in the blue and white machine right there. So that is our gap, as leader Nick Cohan crosses the line now with 11 to go. I think at this point, Cohan's saying, all right, guys, keep it together. Nobody wreck. Nobody have any issues. We don't need a freak yellow flag at the end of the race.
Not again.
Yeah, especially after a couple weeks ago at Irwindale. We don't need another Control-A delete for your interview questions.
Please no.
But I will say, looking forward to next week. The Total Nonstop Racing League is taking a trip abroad, heading over to Japan for Twin Ring Motegi at the Oval track there. It's a very wide, very flat track that always puts on phenomenal racing. 1.5 miles. It's a big, wide open, flat track, a lot of braking, and always puts in incredible races.
I think I might have to sponsor that race to make you say it's the Tabletop Trio in front of that.
So the Tabletop Trio Twin Ring Motegi. Technically, I guess the track is called now Mobility Resort Motegi.
Oh, that's not as fun.
Since the oval track in real life does not exist anymore.
Boo.
Was damaged in the earthquakes in Japan a couple of years ago.
Hmm.
And it was
No
just
plans to rebuild, or
no, just a little too expensive for them to go out and rebuild the oval portion of the track. The road course still stands. We saw the Speed Xfinity Series race there last year, where we named the gravel trap after Martin Plout.
Yeah, that's true.
But coming to 6 laps to go, Nick Cohan in control. 5-second lead over Cannizzaro. And DeBarro slowly chasing down that number 77 machine.
Yeah.
DeBarro each lap now almost 0.3 faster than the 77. And almost barely see him sneak into frame.
Yeah,
Big
you could
slide
see.
there for him.
I was gonna say you could see those tires are kind of shot.
Yeah, that time by DeBarro is another 10th faster. As DeBarro catches the wall again. Car's really racing like Darlington, running that top side, getting into the wall. No race at Darlington this season here for the Total Nonstop Racing League. Still Twin Ring Motegi next week. Atlanta, the Legacy Edition on April 7th. Then our last doubleheader of the season, April 14th at Atlanta Motor Speedway, the Super Speedway version. A lot of fantastic racing involved here for the Total Nonstop Racing League.
They put on such a good race week after week.
And that's the thing, it's different drivers running towards the front of the field each and every week. You know, the racing content is great. The fact that they can race side by side for laps on end while not crashing each other, it's pretty remarkable. Just half a lap left here for Nick Cohan. 6+ second lead over Cannizzaro. One race in the season, one race in the win column. Nick Cohan out of turn number 4. Nick Cohan is going to win at the Rock.
Just a fantastic race.
Cannizzaro comes home second. Anthony DeBarro in third. Here comes Philip Scott getting ready to finish in 4th. Only 4 drivers on the lead lap here tonight. Wow, what a finish. What a race.
Yeah.
As Nick Cohan is going to celebrate with his Dizzy Motorsports team.
Great race.
Just incredible race. Great battle all race long between the 21 of Cohan and the 77 of Canizaro. There's Thuggy Maher burning it down, burning it down pit road.
Just wasn't expecting a car to be able to crip walk like that.
Right? That was honestly impressive.
Yeah, it just reminded me of that the video of a cat who just got up and walked sideways. Just, all right.
But man, what a run. And Joe, I believe you've caught up with our third place finisher, driver of the number 27 machine, Anthony DeBarro.
Hey, Anthony, congratulations on the third place finish. How are you feeling after the race?
A little disappointed. I felt like I could have done a little better job with the right front there. I tried some different than usual steering settings for the ratio and offset, and I think it kind of killed my tires. And I'm used to being good on the long runs, and I kind of felt like after lap 35, I just fell off. The last run, I felt like I did the best job of it. I think I gained a second or maybe two, but Nick was probably pedaling it there in the end. But I was hoping those two up front would maybe wipe each other out, or we get a caution, and then we could bunch it up. But never happened. Good race though, overall, just kind of quiet. Besides the first lap incident.
Yeah, that was a little wild. I think you were able to avoid that one, but we were also looking to see if they would wipe out because they were racing hard up front. We saw you were able to catch up there. We thought maybe you would be able to pull it out. Even during the end there, you were catching up on Canizaro. Did you make any adjustments there for that last stint?
Yeah, just honestly, I just backed my entry up a lot, focused on the line I was doing, and I just was really easy on the tires for the first maybe 20 laps, and I just was very cognizant of how far I was turning the wheel, and it seemed to help. I don't know. I'm not really good at running the top anywhere, so I would say I'm a bottom feeder. So the bottom was just not there. I tried it, so so I'm used to here. I don't know what changed the build or whatever so ago. It was just bottom dominant, so it was a lot different being up against the wall. It was actually really fun. I had fun. I kept it out of the wall until lap I would say about 95. So I kept her clean for a while, and then I cared a little less because I already hit it once, and I think the last 10 laps I was plowing it down, and I had to talk myself to calm down so I could just finish the race.
Yeah, you were not alone though. A lot of people were tapping that back wall. I'm sure you got some shout outs for us.
Yeah, thank you guys. I hope it wasn't too boring going caution free. Maybe we'll get a couple cautions some of these races for some exciting restarts. But I think I didn't see they were so far ahead, but I think John and Nick put on a good show for you guys. So I can't wait to watch that and review the footage.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations again, and hopefully we'll be talking to you next week.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, you guys.
All right, that is Anthony DeBarro, our third place finisher here at The Rock. I'm now joined by our second place finisher, driver of the number 77 machine, John Canizaro Jr. And, well, John, a tough fought race between you and Nick all race long. Wound up finishing second. I'm sure it's, a little bittersweet, but, man, that was one heck of a run there in that last green flag series.
I've got a little bit of a tick on my shoulder. It's, I can't take anything away from Nick. He was, class of the field. That thing was a rocket ship on long run. I don't know. I tried to run the bottom around him. I tried to run the top for the run. It just, no matter what I did, it would kill that right front. But, I kind of wish I got to see it out fully without having to, chop 3 seconds up to him on that second pit cycle or first one, whatever it was. And, a little bit of annoying lap cars that may or may not be associated with the guy that was catching me, but can't really go into it too much. It's it's not who I am, and I'm not gonna air that out when I don't need to. It is how it is. But again, it was just he was class, and I did what I could. I tried to take the bottom from him. That's where he had been running. I tried to take the top from him. I just really could not get around him. So I will happily take the second place. That was the hardest race I have ever ran at Rockingham, and I've even been suspended from Rockingham in a league race before, and I'll do that again over that.
Yeah, definitely. You could definitely tell how hard you guys were running there side by side for a good 15, 20 laps. next to impossible here at the Rock with just how narrow the groove actually is. Talk us through how hard it was to save tires while also fighting, while also, staying quick, because only 4 cars finished on the lead lap.
Well, it was pretty hard. I have no idea what happened on lap 1. So whatever happened in turn 3, I was glad I got straight around the outside of it and got to get my lead. And I think that was what kind of helped me the most that first half of the race, is just being able to get that lead and let the tires die. And by the time he had got to me, by the first time we had to go down pit road, he had already killed his stuff too. So other than that, it was fine. And then kind of again the second run, I got double teamed and I lost that lead, and he ended up just kind of driving away from me after that. But tires were it was either like 2 laps made the biggest difference in the world. I think I had a 4-lap difference on Phillip, and I drove around him like he was sitting still. So still a lot of inexperience on my part. I've never been that great at tire saving. I feel like that's nothing I've tried to hide before, but that was definitely interesting to say the least.
And taking a look to next week now, Twin Ring Motegi, or I guess Mobility Resort Motegi now. What are your thoughts there? I think we raced here and there in the gen, the next gen series a couple of seasons ago, but with this car, it's a little bit of an unknown. What are your thoughts there?
If you want the honest truth, don't even own the racetrack. Never even watched a race on it. Didn't know really of its existence until iRacing, and I've never even thought about buying it. So this is going to be an interesting week of decisions on how much I'm willing to either give up or fork into this again.
Fair enough. Just think 1.5 mile Loudon. If that helps.
IRP will dominate.
Well, John, before we let you go, I'm sure you have some shout outs, so let's hear them.
I got to thank you, obviously, for putting that little bit of a sponsor for me for the Hot Sauce Festival. It was, amazing to get to run that car. It was a beautiful looking car, even if I couldn't see it because my train paint was broken. But I got to thank you for coming to me for that. It's kind of a little bit of an honor. Tyler for making the car and, being my crew chief through all these races. Unfortunately, my teammate Ryan Cole is on a bit of an iRacing leave at the moment, so he will not be returning, unfortunately. But I still got to thank him for showing up the races he could and helping me out with some things I may have not known. Senior, he had an interesting run at Talladega, starting on pole. I'm really upset I didn't get to talk about that last week, but hopefully that never happens again. And Garrett, everybody else that puts on the league for us, Tallier, all those guys that even if they don't race, they're still around the Discord, and just it's a great environment here. I enjoy coming back here occasionally and getting to have my fun.
Definitely. Well, John, congrats again on the second place finish, and hopefully we'll see you out there next week at Motegi.
We'll see.
All right, that's John Cannizzaro Jr., our second place finisher here at Rockingham. And Joe, you've made it down to victory lane, and you're now joined by our winner, driver the number 21 machine, Nick Cohan.
Hey, Nick, congratulations on the win from 5th to 1st. What was your key to success today?
And there are a lot of keys to it, honestly. It was very slick out there. I think it started off at 129 degrees on the track surface, so it was really slick. And I think the biggest thing was just taking care of the tires, just being patient, letting the tires work their way in, and I feel like that was the advantage. It's definitely helped in the long runs. This probe racing development Ford probe was flying out there in the long run, so got to thank all the guys back at the shop at Disney Motorsports for putting together a good race car tonight.
Yeah, I was going to ask, you seem to kind of be killing it during the later half of the stints between pits. What were you doing to kind of handle your tire management?
It was a combination of a couple things. I think it was just taking it easy those first 10, 15 laps. It really paid dividends in the long run. It's really hard to sit there and watch people drive away from you. But you gotta kind of just trust the process in a way, and kind of let them get ahead and just do what you think is right. And I really noticed it in the first run, so I kind of stuck to that strategy the rest of the way. It was real difficult to pass, but I knew if I just took care of the car, took care of the tires early on. I knew I'd have a shot there at the end, and John ran a good race. He was fast as heck in the beginning, and really hard to pass because he was running the lane that I wanted to be in. So it was really fun. You know, just like I said, taking care of the tires. Disney Motorsports put together a good car, and this 2.2 liter PRD 4-cylinder turbo engine was really underpowered in the beginning. So I think it really helped with wheel spin.
Absolutely. I'm sure you got some shout outs for us.
Yeah, like I said, Probe Racing Development for building this engine, Disney Motorsports for building a great race car, and all the guys for being on board here, CG Automotive, Lucis Fast Podcast, Beer Hill Gang, and of course Joey Gattina.
Awesome. Well, congratulations again, and hopefully we'll be talking with you next week.
Yep, thanks guys, appreciate it.
All right, that's Nick Cohan, our winner here at Rockingham, and wow, what a race, what a finish. Great battle all race long between Cohan and Cannizzaro. I mean, you really just can't ask for more.
No, it's just fantastic battle for, I don't even know how many laps there were, neck and neck.
Let's take a quick look here at the final results for tonight's Philadelphia Hot Sauce Festival 150. Nick Cohan gets the win over John Cannizzaro Jr. Anthony DeBarro comes home third. Philip Scott, the fourth and final car on the lead lap. Tristan Maher, after starting on pole, finishes down in fifth. Chris Cabot in sixth. Jamar Dumas 7th, Jonathan Gaston in 8th, Shane Ewing in 9th, and Ace House rounds out the top 10. In 11th, Jacob Bettis comes home. In 12th, Adam Stewart. 13th is Robert Tripp. Jason Schue 14th. Danny White 15th. Ross Stevens in 16th. John Cannizzaro Sr. in 17th. And Garrett Gleason will round out our 18-car field tonight. Wow. What a run. What a great race. And we cannot wait to give you next week's race at Twin Ring Motegi. Bit of a broadcast update. Tomorrow night, we have the Speed Tuesday Dash Series. That's part of their Highline Collectibles in-season tournaments, race number 1 of that at USA Speedway. So a lot of cars heading out to race there. You can catch all the action right around 9:15 Eastern here on the Tabletop Trio family of networks, both on YouTube and on Twitch. Wednesday night, the Tabletop Trio podcast. And then this weekend is the Philadelphia Hot Sauce Festival. You can get your tickets today, phillysaucefest.com. It's going to be at Neshaminy Creek Brewing Company on Saturday, March 29th, Saturday, March 29th, and Sunday, March 30th. Tickets are $9, and you get to sample some of the best hot sauce in the area. So make sure you head on over and get your tickets today. Well, for one final time, I'm Bob.
I'm Joe.
And this has been the Philadelphia Hot Sauce Festival 150 for the Total Nonstop Racing League at Rockingham. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great night.